Hey guys, Hunter Elliott here, rangehot.com. This afternoon, I'm working with a scope from Legacy Sports International. This is a Nikko Stirling, what they're calling the Diamond. It's a long range built scope. This particular one is a 4x16 by 50. And they are actually what I would call, on the budget end of as optics go. They're not very expensive, but it's got a lot of features for what you get. How good is it? I don't know really. So far, I've got about 20 rounds downrange as we were getting it zeroed in. And it's zeroed like it was supposed to, and it's holding zero. The thing about this is kind of got like a different type of ballistic drop compensation. And what I mean by that is these turrets here, they actually, the main turret comes off of your windage and elevation knob. And what you do is when you go to zero it, you take, sends a tool, you take these turrets off, and then below that is actually where you zero the scope. And then once you get the scope zeroed, windage and elevation, then these turret knobs are numbered. And so you basically zero them out, and they just stick right back on the turret and then snug it down with a tool or a coin or whatever. And then what that'll do is when you know the scope is zeroed and you zero out the windage and elevation, if you've got to make any adjustments on the fly, so to speak, then you can actually make your windage and elevation adjustments referencing the numbers on the turrets. Then if you've got to ever return back to your initial zero, then you just zero the scope back out. Obviously you would want to verify that. They also send a third turret knob, and it's actually blank, so if you want to make any notes or whatever. We're going to be running some of this Elite Performance ammunition from 6 Hour, and this is actually turns out to be pretty good, what I would consider match grade store-bought ammunition. To make the adjustment on the knob, you can't just turn it. You've actually got to pull it up, and that allows you to make whatever adjustments you need, and then you seat the knob back down, and that keeps you from inadvertently knocking off your windage and elevation. Once you get it figured out, then you can certainly make whatever adjustments you've got to on the fly to get your rifle zeroed. And then if you've got to do any changes, you can make those changes. And if you ever had to re-reference that initial zero, then you can always just zero out the windage and elevation turrets. Now bear in mind, when I zeroed this thing in, I was using some Defender 55 grain, just full metal jacket to the zero. Now that I've gone to the 77 grain SIG Elite Performance ammunition, that zero was different. So you could also have several different zeros for bullet weights. And all you would have to do is either use this or get you a little range card. You can be like 55 grains is this, windage and elevation or whatever. We've headed to the range 3 times so far, and I've got, I don't know, probably 150, 200 rounds down range using this piece of glass. Let me tell you what I've learned. So understand right off the bat, I'm going to show you there's no magazine in this Colt rifle, and the bolt is locked to the rear, so it is safe to handle and talk about. Just so we're all clear on that. So the scope did as it was supposed to. Using the target elevation and windage knobs that I showed you, you could zero the scope out, assemble those, make any kind of adjustments you need to make, and then return the scope to zero. It did just like it was supposed to. I tried that 4 or 5 times. It always made the adjustments like it was supposed to, and it came back to zero when I zeroed them out. So that particular part of the scope worked well. It also includes a side focus parallax adjustment knob. Factory, it comes with a sunshade, which I think is a really good idea. Sunshades, I like to run them on all my scopes. They do help cut down any kind of glare coming through the tube, especially if you're shooting into the sun, as well as it can cut down on any kind of reflection or light signature downrange. Also comes with a clear scope protector. I want to send a thank you out to SIG for sending me some of their Elite Performance ammunition to run this rifle. Anytime I do any kind of optic review, you try to eliminate all the variables: rifle, ammunition, human being, and that way you're really testing the scope as much as possible. As well as thank you to Legacy Sports International for sending me this piece of glass to review. Now, also understand that the MSRP on this scope is under $400. I think it's right around $380. And you can spend any amount from here to Rocky Mountain on optics. Optics are really expensive, generally speaking, and you're going to reach the law of diminishing returns at some point. And I'm not necessarily meaning the diminishing returns on the optic, but maybe on the diminishing returns of what you need from a piece of glass.
the average person, I don't know that they need to drop $2,000 or $3,000 on a really nice loophole scope. Now, I'm going to tell you this, when you look through a nice loophole and you look through this, yeah, you definitely notice a difference. I make no illusions about it. This is not a loophole scope. But I don't think that's what it was designed to be. It was designed for an end user that's looking to get into a pretty decent piece of glass, really, with a lot of nice features on a budget. If the scope works like it's supposed to, and it's good quality, and it performs to what you need it to do, then I don't see a problem. As well as, maybe somebody's going to be getting into long range and they're on a tight budget. This is something that you could possibly get started with. And then as you outgrow the optic, get into something a little bit nicer, a little bit more expensive. But all in all, I think it's a fine piece of glass if you consider what it is and what you're going to be doing with it. So anyway, guys, this is Hunter Elliott with rangehot.com. I appreciate you coming out here and watching the videos, reading the reviews. Let me know what you think. If you've got any feedback, good, bad, right, or wrong, let me know. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. We do the social media gamut, and I always appreciate any kind of support or feedback, criticisms, what have you. All I'm trying to do is do a good job and make it better. So once again, take care of yourselves and each other, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the range.